Welcome to Rock Truth. I am your host, Selena K. And we thank you for joining us as we rock truth or absolutely nothing at all. We live in a society today where truth, even before our very eyes, is consistently questioned, criticized, and altered to fit a person's ideology of God's original intent for the kingdom and for mankind. We believe that the Bible, our kingdom constitution, is inspired, infallible, inerrant, and the final authority for all. Rock Truth is founded on He, who is the original point of reference for all things to come through eternity. Rock Truth Radio is a cross-cultural response to the economic climate and social crises of today. Rock Truth is designed to serve the physical need of fallen man while serving the spiritual need he didn't know he had that impacts, affects, and infects generationally. Rock Truth Radio seeks to inspire, enlighten, and highlight upcoming and established local kings and queens of character while promoting Black consciousness and awareness of who we are and to whom we belong. This is a Kingdom Renaissance. Welcome, fellow truthers. How are we?
What's going on? How you doing? How's everyone doing?
Excellent. God bless you.
I'm okay. Now, yeah, it was a rough morning for me.
Oh.
Physically. I mean, my stomach was just upset and my booty kept throwing up, but
okay.
Oh, no.
Wow. Did we just say that?
I got
like internal problems. So like,
well, we thank you for the show, y'all.
We thank you for the thorough description.
Wow.
There are areas and places in life that you don't have to be that thorough.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I know you. I know.
Yeah, she's a very detailed oriented young lady. That was very detailed.
I was okay with details. I don't know about nobody else. Anybody was okay with them?
Oh man.
You didn't need them? You didn't require them?
That was one of the. As soon as you heard that, it was kind of like, okay. Everything else that I heard, I just stayed right there. Like, oh, okay.
It did what? Okay.
One of the things they teach us in counseling is never look like you're shocked. Just go with the flow.
You didn't even look shocked. You were like,
no, you didn't. He was just like.
It throws it up. That's
yeah. It was.
Well, we have an amazing show as always. We would like to welcome to the show today, who will be rocking truth with us all show, Pastor Clay. Is it Clabon? I want to pronounce it properly.
Yeah, just Clay is fine. Clay Bogan.
Like, cool. Yeah, Pastor Clay from Christ Baptist Church in South Jersey. How you doing, Pastor Clay?
Doing well. God bless.
Amen.
And my name is all over America, but not because of me. My son is the musical director for William McDowell, and he's Clay Bogan III, and they just got nominated for 2 Dove Awards last evening. So.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Do you sing as well?
Yes.
You do?
Well,
I said, well, yeah.
Yeah, he said it like I dabble.
I dabble.
It's one of my talents.
Oh my God! I don't want to put me out there. Okay, right. That's what's up. I mean, if ever you feel anything within this hour, go ahead and bless us at any time. I would definitely love it. Welcome, Shantae. Welcome to Rock Truth. How are you?
We can see your ceiling, Shantae.
You can see the
God
ceiling.
bless it. Yes, Lord.
God bless it. As soon as we can get you adjusted, don't worry about it. Come back when you're ready.
Yes.
Always be here. So
I had those issues last week.
So, Pastor Clay,
yes,
again, like I said, I met this young pastor, what was that, about 10 years now. That was 2012 at the National Baptist Convention. He was teaching the Spirit of Timothy to the seminar for the young pastors and ministers course. And it just blew me away. his level of teaching, his level of his education of the scriptures, just the fact that he didn't sugarcoat it. You know, that's what really got my attention. He didn't try to, you know, season it, you know, in a certain way. You know, he'd already said he blackified it, but he didn't blackified it. He didn't make the scriptures seem so distant. You know, I don't know about y'all, but I've had pastors talk to me and they make the scriptures feel like, you know, like they're
beyond reach.
something, beyond reach. And I mean, he brought it home and helped you understand that who Timothy was and that you too are Timothy. And so that's why I felt like we need to bring him on this show, because again, he's kingdom minded. He understands the concept. He understands that Jesus Christ's kingdom is on earth. It's here. Right. It's in us, you know, right. And we are to go out and reclaim this world. We are to go out and reclaim these nations. And he taught me these different things. You know, he doesn't know it because I was just a face in the crowd. You know, I think I was even sitting in the back. But it, like I said, that helped mold my level of preaching, that helped mold my level of teaching. And without further ado, I would like to present Pastor Clay.
Yeah.
Bless you. Yeah. Bless you. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I mean, to me, I like what you said about the assignment. I'm on a kingdom assignment, and all of us who work in church, we're on kingdom assignment. Many of us think that our churches employ us. In fact, I always let the churches know where I work that I'm on kingdom assignment, and he told you to pay me while I'm doing it.
I know
I like that.
Feel like a king when you say it.
Yeah, and
you feel like a king when you say it.
I retired from pastoring in 2015. I retired after a bout of prostate cancer, and in 2000 I was I missed one Sunday preaching. I took radiation, 45 things of radiation, and I never missed preaching. But by the end of 2015, I was wiped. I took the year off 2016. I didn't know what I was going to do. In fact, I had started a company for financial counseling to churches. And I got a phone call from Christ Baptist say, look, our pastor's not here. We need a pastor to just sit in until we get somebody. And as I told them last evening on a meeting, it's like Gilligan's Island. It was supposed to be a 3-hour tour. And
look at this.
Here we are going into year 4.
Wow.
But prayerfully, they're going to get somebody. I know they will. It's a good field of work. But one of the things about Christian education, I found out probably right after St. Louis, I found out that my great-grandfather was an itinerant preacher in Mississippi. I was born in Mississippi.
Okay.
And my great-grandfather was an itinerant preacher. He pastored 3 or 4 churches, and he was the principal of the local school in Hickory, Mississippi.
Wow.
So I never knew what this was in me, why I wanted to teach, why I wanted to do what I do. But I do believe that God uses families, and we see that in Scripture. He places stuff in families, and so teaching is one of the things I love. One of my Ephesians chapter 4 talks about, and he gave some apostles and some evangelists and some pastors that are teachers. That we try and make that 5 offices, but it's not. It's 4. It's pastors, Kai teachers, pastors that are teachers for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ. That's my assignment. To grow people. With that assignment and your assignment, and all of you who are in ministry, we are lifelong learners. Whatever we're doing now, we have to keep studying. We have to keep growing. And even the study that they don't understand, that the church has to be relevant to the age of the people. Old hymn that says, when we serve this present age, our calling to fulfill, then I go home a crown. We all have a present age to serve. And so my assignment is to train up somebody who can take over after my present age is done.
Wow.
It's the mentoring, it's the building up, it's edifying.
You gotta have it. Wow.
And so I've benefited. I started going to Hampton. I sang in a group. We traveled, and I told the Lord when He called me to preach in 1985. I told him, I says, look, I'm not doing this. We already sing in the group. We minister your word while we're singing. And so, I'm cool. And he let me get away with that for maybe a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he arrested me. And
listen,
he arrested me.
Do it.
I'll never forget it. It was December of '84. My pastor was on vacation. Guest preacher came in, and the guest preacher preached on "Woe unto you." And so afterwards, I was so convicted. I told my wife, let's stop by my pastor's house in Atlantic City. I said, let's just stop by. I knock on the door. He opens the door and says, boy, get on in here and tell me what you came to tell me.
Yeah.
And I said, what do you mean? He said, I wrestled with you all night last night. He says, what did the Lord tell you? I said, Reverend Trapp, he told me that I'm supposed to preach. He said, I knew it, boy. I knew it.
Yeah.
So I preached my trial sermon the fourth Sunday in March of '85. And I was called to pastor in October of the same year. First of all, I told God I didn't want to preach, and I definitely didn't want to pastor.
Man.
Okay. And so '86, he calls me to pastor, in the same time frame. So I started pastoring a small church. I brag about this all over the country. Unanimous vote. All eight of them voted for me. Objection. Let me just go back about learning. My objection to preaching was, I said to God, what if somebody asked me a question that I don't know the answer to?
Yeah.
That was my objection.
Yeah.
And his answer, I didn't like it. He said, so what?
Right. Yeah, I like that.
It's your people I'm supposed to be teaching. Why would I not? So he says, I'm calling you.
Right.
So driving from Long Island to my house, I used to listen to some show called The Bible Answer Man. And I get to church, we start doing Bible study, somebody asks a question, and it was the question I just heard on the radio, and I'd answer it. Now, I didn't catch on right away. I'm a little slow. It took me about 5 or 6 times to say, oh, that's what you mean, so what? You're going to make sure that I'm equipped to tell what your people want to hear. And I just trusted God. So two of my favorite things is, if you ask me, I'll give you an answer if I know it. If I don't, you know what? I don't know the answer to that, but I will bring you an answer next week.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Yes, or we can study together.
That's right. That's it. So it forced me to start studying. I studied. My son says, my oldest boy, the one who plays, he says that he's one of the things that I admired my study habits. I believed what they used to say in seminary, that for every 5 minutes of preaching should be 1 hour of study. I believe that.
Wow.
Pastor Wade taught me that one. Yeah.
Yes. All the old preachers teach you that. Every 5 minutes of preaching, 1 hour study. So I used to preach for 50 minutes. So I had to study. And so I studied, and then I went to Hampton. The first year I went to Hampton, I was blown away. Willie, I lost my mind down there. It was Bill Shaw, A. Lewis Patterson, and E.V. Hill.
Wow.
That's and Bill Shaw got up and he took Ezekiel, and the word of the Lord came to me. And he preached on it for 3 days. That was his whole text.
It's like, how did you do that?
I know. I was just totally amazed. And then the following year, I was on business, going out to look at Walmart, and I was in Kansas City, and late night was Jasper Williams, E.V. Hill, and A. Lewis Patterson. When late night service was over at 2 o'clock in the morning, I called my wife. She said, "Why are you calling me so late?" I was so ecstatic to know that there's preaching at a level that I could not even comprehend.
Wow.
I didn't want to be E.V. Hill. I didn't want to be A. Lewis Patterson. I didn't want to be Jasper Williams. I wanted to be the best me I could be.
Pastors, I believe, or preachers that are up and coming, and they are under influential, great pastors. But I think that issues come into place when they attempt to remain under their shadows and not step out and know that you came with your own individual plan and purpose.
That's right.
But that's human nature.
Not him. Go ahead, James.
I see that as being human nature as well. When you see someone that you kind of admire and
Teach.
you kind of emulate them in a lot of ways, you
Yeah.
admire them, you emulate them, and then it's kind of like, but it's like it takes some time to kind of realize, like, I have to put my own
Right.
personal touch onto who it is I am and what it is that I do.
Amen.
It's kind of
Amen.
like, I mean, you see that
Every day. Period.
subscribe and like.
Subscribe,
God.
like,
God bless.
comment. Subscribe,
Oh.
like, comment.
Oh my gosh.
Retweet.
Retweet.
Regram.
Instagram.
Share.
I don't know what the young folks say nowadays. They be saying
Oh.
something.
I need you to be you. I need you to reach your.
Right.
You're bait.
That's right.
I need you to catch a
Yeah.
certain type of fish. I
Mhm.
don't need you to catch the fish
That's
yourself.
it.
I got somebody like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's
I can
good.
You
teach
know
y'all.
what's
I can teach y'all about some bait, boy. It's something. Jesus Christ, woo! He does something with it. I don't mean to jump in on you, James, but
No.
there's something about when Jesus Christ teaches the disciples about fishing, right?
Mhm.
It gets why is that why am I losing the first disciple? One of the first disciples. Y'all forgive me, but anyway,
John.
it was John. I
Peter.
think it was John.
Is
It was the younger one, the
Okay.
youngest one of the youngest disciples. He teaches them how to fish, right? And I'm not getting this from myself. I studied this from I was listening to Pastor Ty Tribbett. Y'all might have heard of him.
Oh, sure, I know Ty. He's from Camden. He's from Camden.
Oh, okay, didn't know that. Yeah. Right. So I was listening to something he was saying. He was saying that bait, right? He said the fisherman doesn't eat his bait,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
That's right.
The fish eat the bait,
Right.
That's
right? He says that the bait is designed for that fish,
Right.
and only that fish,
And only that type of fish, yeah.
only that type of fish. So when you are the fisherman, you know what fish you're going out to fish for.
King.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in this world, in Christianity, when we know what we have, when God knows what he wants to bring into the fold or who needs to have a word, he will give you that bait. It's not for
Mhm.
you.
Mhm.
It's not for you to consume.
right.
It's for them to consume.
That's right.
And
That's right.
because sometimes preachers, and I'm guilty of this. Sometimes preachers, we get into the word and we get so convicted that we don't want to preach it to nobody else. I've been there. I'm like, I'm holding on to that one.
I'm not a preacher, but I'm with you. Like it's
But
like when you're saying that the bait isn't for you, sometimes you know what it is, because I find myself when I'm actually teaching and I'm actually, speaking life into another individual, it's speaking right on back to me. And I tell them, I'm like, hold on, that really wasn't for you, for me too.
Right.
So you might as well join in.
Might as well join in.
Well, you remember, God spoke it to you, but it wasn't for you. He spoke it to you first.
But
Then you're to give it to someone else.
Right. It's meant to be a blessing.
How is it that the only thing I'm asking then is how is it not for me if he spoke it to me, but it was still beneficial for
Oh
me?
no, you benefit from it.
You're gonna benefit.
You're the vessel.
Yes.
You're the vessel. You're the
But
vessel.
fruit was never meant for the tree that made it.
Correct.
Mm.
For the tree that made
Wow.
Teach.
Hey,
Teach
that's
that.
a kingdom. That's a kingdom phrase.
Yeah, I mean, apple trees
that
don't eat
made it.
apples. Pear trees don't eat pears.
Right.
They make fruit and then they pass on. So God pours into us so that we can become the vessel, the tree that can produce a fruit for somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Follow me?
Yes.
Now, I learned from.
I'm a
Huh?
wordy guy, Mr. Pastor. I'm a very wordy individual.
Not a problem.
So I have to ask. So okay,
Sure.
I get that. I just need the proper wording. So you're saying that even though, so he put it into us, it does benefit us.
Yes.
But it's not for us.
Right.
Right. It's for, because he gave it to us to give to someone else.
Exactly. To give, it's for you to share.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I get that part, but I don't eat.
You don't eat of that fruit. You eat of somebody else. That's
also
why it's
somebody
riches.
That's what I needed clarity. That's what I needed clarity.
You eat
I'm
of-
eating
yes.
somebody
Yeah.
else's fruit.
Right.
And now
Right.
I've been planted.
Right.
And
Yes.
Any
now
preacher,
Right.
any preacher that only hear themselves, you're in trouble because you got
Oh.
to eat fruit too.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
like the term. It's like the term. Each one teach one. It's like the term.
Yes.
Each one.
Yeah,
Teach
there you go.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I
yeah,
get it. I just needed
Yes.
that picture painted clear because
yeah.
Absolutely.
I understand.
you know,
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Valuable education.
I love it.
If you wanna talk truth with us, you can call us at 1-747-24 truth to speak with Pastor Clay and the rest of the truthers and Pastor joined it as well because he gave me some.
Well,
This topic been going on right now is we have a African American female VP elect, right? You know,
candidate. Not
Is her
elect.
mama black or is her daddy black?
Her father's
Oh,
Jamaican.
father was
Daddy's
Yeah.
Jamaican.
Father's Jamaican. Her mother was Indian.
Indian,
Yeah.
right?
She's Indian. Mhm.
yeah.
So she black for real.
Well,
What
you
is
know, it's
it?
funny.
Real.
What
Her daddy.
the conservative talk shows came out and said, well, she's not an African American, and I know many of them have changed it to a woman of color. But I'm saying Jamaicans came from Africa just like we came from Africa.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
yes, they
I
did.
mean, that's how that island got
Right.
populated. They put them there in Jamaica, so
Right.
they're from the same origin. We're all same
Right.
people.
Yeah.
And then the Indians,
All black.
we all know they're us.
We're
Yeah.
all from the same origin. This is
Yeah.
my thing with it, everyone. My issue is I believe we're too carnal. I think that we are so hung up on carnality. We are so hung up on the houses that our souls are in. Like
Amen.
that's all we're
Amen.
thinking about.
Yeah.
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 You know, and it's
We're
like
looking at the
black or
cover.
white or green or orange.
Right.
Seriously, it is
We're
about
looking at
the
the cover.
content of this woman's character. I
Right.
don't care
Right.
about that. And
Right.
what's an issue for me is about manipulative control tactics. So when you try to persuade me to do something, you throw in things like, "Oh, she black," "Oh,
Okay.
she's female," as if that's supposed to just make me guess, not even use my brain or intelligence to hear her speak. All
Right.
I need
But
to know is
that's
she
the
black.
media in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
That's the
But, you know,
media in a lot
So
of ways.
that's general advertisement. Yeah, that's how they advertise.
advertisement.
Right.
But the culture has it, and they're talking about she's an aggressive black woman. Yeah, it's funny when we speak up, we're aggressive. When they speak up,
Exactly.
they're assertive.
Right.
Yes.
Assertive. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I came through an environment. I was the first black buyer, grocery buyer for Food Fair. That's a chain that's been out of business for years.
Wow.
I was in charge of non-foods for ShopRite, which is a large chain out here in the East. And I was vice president of non-foods for Food Town, another food chain here in the East. And most of the meetings I went to, and my son who ended up in retail, my youngest son, he said, "Dad, they said some stuff about you." They put expletives in front of my name.
Wow.
And all I did was my job. See, I was
Right.
aggressive.
Yeah.
Kamala is just very assertive woman and brilliant.
But it sounds like it's a way for them to almost want to put us in a certain place.
Absolutely.
Like you have no right to say to me or to speak up at any point. You
Right.
don't have a voice. Stay in
Right.
your place.
That's
You know, minority person in a lot of ways, whether it's black or white. Stay in your place
Right.
in a lot of ways. And then it's like, how dare you even approach me with what you're saying?
Right.
So it don't just happen. It don't just happen on the president level or whoever's level. It happens in every walk of life. You even see it on the sports shows. It's like if Tom Brady going crazy, it's like, oh, he's a leader. He's a leader.
Right.
If Terrell Owens go crazy, it's like, oh, he's out of control. He's out of his mind. It's
Mentally
like
ill.
they do it in every walk of life. And then they control the media, so they make us look a certain type of way.
Right. Yeah. It's what was I about to say? Go ahead. I forgot what I was about to say.
This coming Sunday's message, I'm dealing with people who say I'm not a racist. And I'm dealing with the fact that maybe they're not, but maybe they're guilty of bigotry. They're guilty of bias. They're guilty of prejudice. They're guilty of colorism, classism, or culturism. Maybe you're not a racist. But anytime you have put yourself into a preferential status above me, that's not God.
Right.
That's not of God.
Absolutely.
It can't be.
Yes, sir. Right.
Teach, King.
That's well.
I totally agree. It's just a few things. It's like you said, it's about how the media is saying things and how the media sway things. And a lot of it just kind of bothered me, you know, what they were saying in reference to her when past, when Joe, what is his name? Biden?
Joe Biden.
Yeah, when Biden, when he stated that, you know, today, little black girls, they woke up and they saw or knew that they could be, you know, the VP or hold this office or whatever that is. It bothered me, honestly.
Yeah, I can see that.
It bothered me because, first of all, I don't need nobody to tell me what my daddy ain't already told me. You know what I'm saying? It seems like you're talking to a generation of women who lacks fathers or something like we lack somebody telling us that we love. And I'm not talking about my physical father. I'm talking about our heavenly father.
Yes, ma'am.
He's already told us. And then another thing too, I can't be president if he didn't say. So to tell your children that you can be whatever you want to be, that's not the truth. That's not God. It's a lie. You can only be who God created you to be and said you could. Just because you ain't at the top doesn't make the position.
It comes from a place of privilege. Their statements come from a place of privilege in a lot of ways, and they believe that all of us are always seeking power and all of these different things. So it's like when they make these statements like your daughter can do this too, it's kind of like, well, you know what, that might not be what my God has for my daughter or what have you. It's like my daughter is going to go through her own trials and tribulations to actually wound up being what she's actually supposed to be. But it's like their thought process is it's only about power. You can only be in this seat. You can only be in that seat. Like, look at that person. And that's why they talk about money a lot. They have us infatuated with money. It's like, if you're not about money and you don't have this much money, what are you actually doing? Who are you? It's kind of like they manipulated us to the point. And it's another Kanye West lyric.
Relation of riches. You can be rich and not be wealthy.
Exactly.
And wealth is something that you can pass on. That's why even as they are celebrating their wealth, the issue is they got their wealth off of our backs.
Yes.
They are wealthy because when you can have free labor working for you for 250 years, you can accumulate wealth. So they have something to pass on to their children. We attain to riches, and I pray this. The greatest wealth that we're going to have is when our fathers say "well done" at the end. And I remember when you said something before. You were talking about fishing. Jesus said something really neat to the disciples. He says, "Follow me, and I will make you to become fishers of men." Now, here's what he said: is you can't fish until you become a fisher, like I want you to be. We are becoming something now, so that we can do what he wants us to do. We can't get sidelined by the whole idea of material things. Listen, I want like the next guy wants, but my point is, I know how they got what they got. I don't want to be them. Their fear is that we are going to be the powerful people that they've always been afraid we were. Listen, the black man is a very powerful man. When you go back in our history and all the countries that we Hannibal and all the great countries that we dominated, the Moors, they are fearful of us. So all they can do is subject us to keep us in a place where they're dominant. This place I am right now is being able to talk to God's people. Whether it's one person, whether it's 8 people at Mount Olive or 600 at the current assignment, it doesn't matter. The idea is that every individual is important to God. And I feel really honored that Willie called me. A young guy, I feel honored that he called me because just one-on-one with you guys is, man, this is worth a ton to me.
It's worth a ton to me too, trust me.
I have a question now, because you made a very clear point, and you said every life matters. Every life matters. And so with us saying the Black Lives Matter, I totally get it. I understand it, and I understand we came out of oppression, but I'm still down with the kingdom, and I'm still down with Christ, and I'm still down with my God. And so I
just had a conversation with one of my deacons, and it had to do with the organization Black Lives Matters, and you shouldn't be pushing that. And I said, look, I'm not talking about the organization. I'm talking about message that Black Lives Matter. If the Ku Klux Klan said Black Lives Matter, I would still support it. So I'm not worried about the organization. I said, but just because what they don't want to grab hold to is that just because I'm talking about black lives. I said, just because we say save the whale, don't mean we hate all the rest of the fish in the ocean.
Right.
The whales are becoming extinct. Let's help the whales.
Right.
But yes.
Whales.
Oh, man.
We got about 5 more minutes before we close out. Is there anything that you would like to say or share, not only with this generation, with this time that we're in, because it could be a message that's cross generational? Is this something that you would like to say in reference to everything that is going on this year, or just a message or anything?
One of the things I discovered, especially talking with young people, and what they are really looking for is relational instruction. They're not just looking for facts. They're not looking for information. They want relational instruction. Care about the people you're talking to. Give them room to say something where you can receive what they're saying. They don't have to be wrong, but you can show them another perspective and honor what perspective that they have. That's how we're going to reach this generation that we're dealing with. We can't keep pushing them out. We've got to talk to them and treat them like the adults that they are.
Right.
Out of here.
Ma'am?
It's too early, no?
No, we're good. We're back on. Our stuff is back working. So we have our stuff in queue. Yeah, all of our. So go ahead and take us out of here.
All right. Yeah, I mean, every Friday. We live, we live, we true. Be you. We rock true.